Najeela the Blade Blossom versus Teshar, Ancestor's Apostle. That hand is keepable, so we'll go for it. We can go for Path of Ancestry into Mindblade Render on turn 2. Yeah, I think that's alright, and then we have means of fixing mana, so yeah, I think we're looking pretty good here, unless we see a board wipe. Our opponent's commander is a 2/2 Flying Bird Cleric for 4 mana. Whenever you cast a historic spell, return a target creature card with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it looks like we are looking at some kind of mono white reanimator strategy. We get the scry off of Mindblade Render, of course. And Cathar's Crusade, I think, is a bit too early for us, so we'll throw that onto the bottom. And the question is, do we want to go for the Lantern or Najeela next turn? I think it's Najeela that we want. They do have Wrath of God mana up. Okay, they're going for Wall of Omens. We don't mind that one bit. Okay, going for Wall of Omens. We don't mind that one bit. And yeah, passing the turn over to us, and no idea what... I don't think I've ever played against this commander before, so I've no idea what to expect from it. We will go for... might as well go for the Cavern. That will of course name Warrior. And we'll get down our commander. And we'll get a scry from that. We'll get a scry from, I think, near enough all of our creatures when we tap it with the Path of Ancestry. I have no idea what this thing is. Well, it puts us a step closer to Wooburg, but we've got 2 lands in hand, so I think I'm just going to leave that. I'd like to actually get into some more warriors. Worst case scenario, we go Chromatic Lantern into Bloodchin Rager next turn. And we'll swing in here so that we can get a token. And then the token will hit our opponent and we'll be able to put some damage onto them, lose a life, and draw a card. Bloodchin Rager and the Mindblade Render are both auto-includes in Najeela. They both do a lot of work for us. The fact that this thing's a 1/3 is really good, but the fact that it gives us card draw is even better. And then this thing gives all of our stuff menace, which makes it a pain for our opponents to block us, especially if they don't get down another creature here. Wall of Omens is just going to keep them from dealing much damage, but we're not going to be too worried about swinging into it. Now the question is, do we want to trade our commander for our opponent's? I don't know if we do. I think we get more out of just swinging in with our 2 creatures currently. That thing gains them 5 life and draws them a card when they put 2 mana into it, which isn't bad in white. It's not the best. We're well on our way to Wooburg at least, so we can start getting extra attack steps in. And I think in that case what we want to do here is we can go black and green into Bloodchin Rager, and then we can go Darksteel Mutation onto our opponent's commander. Put another land on the bottom. We have plenty of those in hand. Not getting into many of our warriors, unfortunately. We'll go for red and white here. Red and white is Plateau, I think. I do sometimes forget the names of these cards. Yep, Plateau. And we will make our Opponent's commander, an indestructible 0/1 insect with no abilities. So now they need some kind of enchantment removal. And we're safe to swing in with our Najeela, which I imagine gets blocked by the Wall of Omens and the 0/1 indestructible. Does this thing have to swing in to give menace? Alright, so so they can block like that. I was thinking that this thing triggers just when we attack with a creature, but it's actually when it itself attacks, so we'll be able to play around with menace next turn. As long as the Bloodchin Rager swings in, that is. 5 cards in our opponent's hand, and they are in enchantment removal colours. Yeah, I was just going to say, they're also in Wrath of God colours, so Day of Judgment gets some good value for them there. Now the question is, do we take the lock off here, and do we want to do something on our upkeep? Well, it doesn't matter because Modo didn't register that anyway. We at least drew into Heroic Intervention, so that's good. I think we just go for ramp this turn, so we can go blue and black there, I think we'll do. Underground Sea. So that will be 1, 2, 3. Chromatic Lantern, and then going into the Shared Animosity. And not going to get Shared Animosity out unless we pay red for it, are we? And there we go. We get +1 to our power for each creature attacking. Well, I'll actually just read it out instead of ad-libbing. Whenever a creature you control attacks, it gets +1 to its power until end of turn for each other attacking creature that shares a creature type with it. That obviously is a lot better when you've actually got creatures on the field. But hopefully we've slowed down our opponent enough to the point where they can't do a whole lot. Teshar Ancestor's Apostle won't necessarily be playing a heap of board wipes. But you never know, they may have another one in hand. They can at least get the Day of Judgment back with the Codex Shredder. Return a target card from your graveyard to your hand for 5 tap and sack. And they do have... Oh, that's clever. Yeah, they're exiling their own commander so that it can go back into the command zone. And now they have a 1/3 in play that they can block some of our creatures with. We're hoping for... I was going to say more warriors, but apparently we're not going to draw into those. So we'll just go into Najeela. And yeah, we get to scry. Hopefully see a warrior on top. We do have a sword on top, which I don't think I care about. If I do end up wishing that we had the sword, I can get it back with the Enlightened Tutor on the bottom, please. Thank you. So we'll go for Misty Rainforest here, and then we can Heroic Intervention if we want to. They may well wipe the board just to get rid of Najeela before they play out their commander, which wouldn't necessarily be a good use of a board wipe, but that may be what our opponent does nonetheless. Okay, Junk Diver really playing out of the graveyard here. Flying, whenever it dies, return an artifact from your graveyard to your hand. A 1/1 flyer for 3 mana. Okay, we're not going to crack the Misty Rainforest, there's no need to. It actually acts as an extra command tower for us, thanks to the Chromatic Lantern. And Bramblewood Paragon is really good for us. And that does actually make me wish that I had held up the... gone in for the sword, but then we wouldn't have drawn into the Bramblewood Paragon, so there's no point worrying about that. That does, of course, make sure that our warriors come in with +1/+1 counters. So I think we might just go for the sword next turn with Enlightened Tutor. We can swing in again with Najeela. If they want to double block here, they can. And then do we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? We're 1 mana off. Actually, no, we won't be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I thought we'd be able to recast the Najeela. So even if they double block here, if they're blocking like that, I imagine that they want to get back the Codex Shredder with the Junk Diver, because they'll probably crack this, go after the not the Wall of Omens, the Day of Judgment, and then want to get the Junk Diver trigger back onto Codex Shredder so that they can get back the Wrath again. I imagine that's the play that they're going for. They will have to tap out pretty much to do that, though. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they won't have mana held up to go Day of Judgment. Even Mind Sensor means that we have to go for our tutor right now. So we'll grab the sword, and then we can hopefully go in for the combo next turn. The combo with the... actually, we have to be able to get through our... We have to be able to get through our opponent's creatures in order to do that, so... does rely on our opponent not playing any more creatures, and I assume this is a creature-based deck, considering what our opponent's commander does. So the sword won't necessarily do it for us. Perhaps should have gone for something else there. I got tunnel vision there. Oh, and actually it doesn't matter because I didn't notice that our opponent used the Codex Shredder on us to get rid of our thing that we tutored for, so wouldn't have mattered either way. But in hindsight, what I should have done there is Enlightened Tutor for a Bear Umbra. I think that would have been better. And our opponent gets back their commander. And Terrarian, I don't know what this does. It enters tapped. 2 tap and sack, add 2 mana of any combination of colours. And when it dies, draw a card. Okay, fair enough. And they get back... What do they get back? Okay, they get back their Fiend Hunter. It comes straight back onto the battlefield. So we will have to Heroic Intervention here just to give ourselves hexproof if we want to have any kind of chance of getting things going here. Don't think we have much chance. Would have been nice to get into the Heroic Intervention sooner, of course. We would have been able to survive that Wrath and actually get some stuff going on our opponent. And we can just yield through till the end of the turn. We now have an empty hand. Our opponent has a lot of stuff on the board. So I think we just have to swing in, really. There's nothing else we can do. We will, of course, get lots of triggers on here. We can activate Najeela 1, 2, 3... Well, I don't know how many times. I assume it's just the once. Well, I don't actually know. And then we'll yield and say yes 3 times to that. And all these creatures are going to get, what is it, lifelink, trample and haste. We'll wait for our opponent to block. See if they can work out how they want to block here. Okay, blocking Najeela with the Wall of Omens is fine with me. And then they are, of course, going to... Yeah, I'm actually fine with all these blocks so far. Okay, that is fine with me. So we'll go, as it stands now, none of our stuff is dying. So let's go, doesn't matter how we tap things here. What do we need? Red, black and blue. And we untap everything and we get another attack phase after this. We do have trample to get more damage onto our opponent, and then we can swing in again, dealing lethal to all our opponent's creatures here. And they do get to Junk Diver, and what does that go for? They go after their Ornithopter. That won't help them this turn. We're just going to try and go in for an alpha swing here. So now we attack in again. And we get buffs on all of our stuff. We want to put Shared Animosity on first, actually, don't we? I didn't do that last turn, and I perhaps should have done. We want Shared Animosity to see more creatures. I think I did that wrong last turn. Try and do it correctly this time. And getting lots of tokens off with Najeela, so don't necessarily have to get a combo off with her. Clearly we can just get a lot of damage in this way, and the trample is actually going to really help us here. I think our opponent could have blocked better, to be honest. Yeah, they could have killed our Bramblewood Paragon and Najeela, and they perhaps should have done, but nevertheless, that is still a win for us. Had we not have got the win off that turn, I imagine that we would have lost there. We were in some dire straits throughout the game there, but we just managed to squeak out a victory. I think our opponent could have gone for the Codex Shredder onto Wrath of God sooner. It would have meant tapping out a couple of times, but I think wrathing the board against Najeela is your best bet. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. That was a pretty good game, I think. I thought we were going to lose that one, but we managed to squeak out a victory. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.